Hello, welcome to my mid-month update for the month of August. August is my birthday month. It's also an exciting month because I finished the Dark Tower series this month by Stephen King. If you don't know, I took my time with the first 4 books in the series, but then last month after finishing Wolves of the Kala, I suddenly got so much excitement and momentum to keep going that I started the month with Song of Susanna, and I really enjoyed it. This is book 6 in the series, and then after finishing this book I went right on into the final book, The Dark Tower, and I'm going to be sad to return this edition back to the library because it is so beautifully illustrated by Michael Whelan. If you don't know, Michael Whelan is just an incredible artist. Speaking of illustrations, I did do my own Oi fan art for the Warband tag last month. I had fun doing it. My brother criticized me for not getting the corkscrew tail, but it is what it is. I had fun with it. If you want to know my thoughts, I did post a spoiler-free video on this series, which is up on my channel now. I posted that on Saturday, which I don't normally do, but I made an exception with this series. And I do plan to have a spoiler-filled discussion on this series for those of you who've read the series and want to hear more of my in-depth spoiler thoughts. I'm going to be doing that with my good friend Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads, who also just recently finished the series, and I know he has amazing things to say about it. If you don't know, Andrew is so amazing at doing spoiler-free reviews on self-published books especially, but you might not know that he has some incredible insights when it comes to plot predictions. I noticed that when we buddy read Guns of the Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky last year. I got ahead of him. He was at the halfway point and he predicted everything he thought would happen, and it ended up happening. Same thing with this book. I had finished the book, he was halfway through, and he said, here's what I think will probably happen. And everything he said ended up happening, so I thought that was funny. I cannot wait to hear his thoughts on this series, on this book. Stay tuned for that. I don't know yet if that'll happen on his channel or my channel, and other guests we might recruit for that, but I will let you know as soon as I do. And so aside from that, after finishing the Dark Tower series, I got excited about continuing with series and making progress with series, as I have a few that I have not finished yet. So I went ahead and picked up book 3 in the Dune series, and so this is Children of Dune. And I am really enjoying it so far, but I can see why this series, at least the second book and the third book, might not appeal to all readers. I would say it's very heavy on the philosophy, on the ideas. I love it. If you've ever taken a personality assessment where they ask you, are you a letter of the law type of person or a spirit of the law type of person, and you like answering questions like that or digging into that kind of philosophy, I would say check out the Dune series because it really goes deep into those kind of discussions, as well as politics and religion and ecology and so many other things. I would say it goes into that so much so that even the characters themselves are kind of representative of certain types of philosophies. Really enjoying that so far, really enjoying the discussions and conversations in that particular book. And I don't know how much to say about both Dune Messiah and Children of Dune that would be a spoiler even for book 1. And I don't know if it's one of those things just like Lord of the Rings at this point where it doesn't even matter about spoilers anymore. I just don't know. So I always try to be very vague when I talk about those 2 books, because I think when you read, especially Dune Messiah and this book, you start to really gain more insights into what the first book is doing. And so I don't want to ruin that for anybody who hasn't read the first book, but I think it's safe to just to say that there is a lot of incredible conversation regarding moral philosophy. That's all I'll say for now, but I really am enjoying it. It's so fun. Aside from that, I started the 5th omnibus volume of Vinland Saga, which I'm really enjoying. I love this manga so far. I had said in a previous video that I probably would stop after the 4th volume because I couldn't find it through my library system, but then my friend Penny reached out to me and let me know how to find manga through the Georgia library system, which is kind of tricky to do, but she helped me figure it out. So it turns out I will be able to continue my journey in Vinland Saga, and I'm so happy about it. This is a Viking historical fiction type of manga. It does have some pretty dark material in it. There is some nudity, very mild nudity, and violence and rape and things like that. So just be prepared for that. But I'm loving the character work. The plot work is fantastic, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. So I'm reading that right now. I never made an August TBR because I just don't always know what I want to read in from month to month, but I do know that I am going to pick up Babel by R.F. Kuang, which comes out on my birthday, and I'm looking forward to that because I've heard such fantastic things. Aside from that, I really want to pick up Warlord Chronicle Book 2. That's The Enemy of God, and I'll especially be picking that up with the audiobook and the ebook. I picked up book 1 thanks to Alan at the Library of Alexandria. He never steers me wrong when it comes to recommendations. And he also has been a huge fan of the audiobooks. And I know Alan doesn't listen to a lot of audiobooks, but he is absolutely right. Keeble deserves to be up there as one of the best audiobook narrators. He was fantastic in The Winter King. I even got into the mood for The Winter King by rewatching The Sword in the Stone, Disney Sword in the Stone, which is one of my favorite movies from childhood. Of course, with Warlord Chronicles, this is a much darker Arthur retelling, and all the characters are very flawed. But I love the way Bernard Cornwell makes each of the characters very dark and gritty and entertaining too. It's just a very entertaining read so far. So those are all the plans I have for now. I do plan on picking up the second book in the Wars of Light and Shadow, but I want to wait until we have our first live show for that. So hopefully that'll come soon. And that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.